Hello, good evening, good morning, and welcome to the Fanatics of Film. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ben.
And I'm Joe.
And we're talking about Walking Dead here. This is the big turning point of this season that we've you and I have both been very, very anticipant about. Last episode of Scott Wilson and last of Andrew Lincoln showing up. I'm dying to know what your thoughts are on this, Joe. We haven't really spoken about it much.
Well, are we going to have spoilers here?
Yeah, we are going to be talking spoilers. So in case you haven't seen the episode, turn away, run away, and come back after you've seen the episode.
Yeah, please come back and join us. It was an enjoyable episode. I mean, it was a nice farewell to Rick, but that's really what it was. In that watching the moments of characters coming back from the past and sort of reoccurring visual elements from earlier episodes, including the first episode, the pilot, it was a nice touch, but. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I felt like it was kind of a tease campaign since, they announced that Andrew Lincoln was leaving at San Diego Comic-Con this last July, and so you knew it was going to happen, but I felt like, I didn't expect this to happen, but I also feel like it was a bit like what they had done with Glenn, you know what I mean, where you thought he was killed and then he survives to the next episode only to be killed later, and I feel like that's... Rick may never die, but they're going to bring him back later. But
he was underneath a dumpster for like a couple of days. Apparently, Glenn was under a dumpster, and
so improbable.
I was glad that they kept Glenn alive because he was one of my favorite characters on the show.
My favorite characters. So, but the approach of doing that, I hate tease campaigns like that because it's bullshit to me. It was improbable. First of all, that. Really, the body's going to fall on top of him, and that's what we're seeing with the guts ruby, and he doesn't get infected or anything at all. Like they don't. I don't know. It was cheesy.
Well, they're able to somehow. This is the other big flaw in the show is that, especially with this episode, is that Rick the entire time when he's running from the zombies, he could have literally grabbed some guts and covered himself because
he's done it before,
and that's what they've done so many times before, and it would have been so easy to do and. It made me think of that anyway. So it's kind of ludicrous how that's been done in just some random spots.
I just kind of feel like it was a good farewell, but if you're going to go that far to give him that kind of a farewell, kill him. Don't save him. Don't lock him away for 3 or 4 seasons till they finally run out of steam and have to bring him back to. I don't know. You were saying possibly movies.
Well,
movies plural.
So this is just 8 hours ago. And apparently Walking Dead is aiming for a trilogy of films with Andrew Lincoln at the center, reprising his roles as Rick Grimes. In a recent interview, Lincoln might have revealed when to expect the first of these movies. Everybody thinks I am a sociopath because I'm not breaking down at every interview. But the truth is that I know that there's something happening next year.
That's pretty vague, though. That could be just he could be returning for the final moments of the final season.
They will air on AMC. Lincoln promises they will be unique. They're not just longer episodes, the actor said. It was a compromise because I didn't want to be disingenuous to fans, but then, of course, I didn't want to give away the story. So
they're going to bring him back in some capacity.
But it sounds like they're implying that they're films, but I guess that's not really confirmed. There'll probably be just longer episodes that they have him with, maybe with a higher budget, type of thing.
Maybe a mini-series to finish off the series, like instead of doing a final season, they'll do a final season and then a mini-series, like Farscape did. It's possible. But they're keeping him for a reason. So I felt kind of like the farewell. It was really just for the audience, not so much the character or the exposition of the story per se. And I don't know. I do feel like that's a bit of a cop-out myself.
Do you think the story itself was a cop-out? Did you feel like,
I felt like, okay, this is the end, and it would make sense if it was the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like he goes through that lucid dreaming cathartic experience really for nothing. He finds that his family's not lost, as Michonne and Shane's daughter are his family. I think it's Shane's daughter. We don't know.
I do actually like how they brought that up, because that is something that you and I discussed just in our last episode. We talked about that and how this is something that I had completely forgotten about. And Shane illustrates, my family. How's my little girl? And I hadn't realized that it is actually Shane's daughter. I hadn't even realized that. That's kind of crazy.
I thought it was kind of interesting to see John Bernthal back on the show.
That was my favorite part of this episode. That was my favorite part, seeing him again.
It got that right there got a lot of critical praise, and so did Scott Wilson returning as Herschel. That got me too, because I always liked Herschel. I thought he was a good character because Scott Wilson was a good actor, and it was nice to see him back. And it's kind of sad that it's his
that was his
final
last
role.
It was his last part of this. Both Andrew Lincoln and Scott Wilson. Well, so far, anyway. I had mixed feelings about it. I thought, I mean, in general, the first 5 or 6 seasons of this show they've avoided the supernatural. They've avoided the ethereal. They've avoided anything that was so out of the ordinary. I mean, at least in my recollection,
zombies.
What I mean is in the sense of like taking into like a dreamscape, in such a far left field experience that we had here. The insects turning into the helicopters at the very beginning, him waking himself up in the original hospital, or it seemed like it was the hospital that they had originally burrowed their way out of before Maggie's little sister died. So
really, I thought it was the same hospital from the pilot episode.
I know, but it looked like they were higher up. Like anyway, it seemed like they were because he was on a ground floor. His original hospital, he was on a ground floor.
Yeah,
but in this episode, he wasn't on a ground floor. It seemed like he was in the hospital that they had escaped from.
It could have been an amalgam of it. By the time he gets to the door that has the, do not open, dead outside, he's back on the ground floor because he walks out.
But my point is that it seemed like, he was jumping from one hospital to the next in one scene.
And it could have been, because visually it was jumping through a lot of
things, right?
A lot of episodes from the past, a lot of characters from the past. It's nice to see Sasha back, too. Although she hasn't, she's only been gone a season. I was kind of wondering if Glenn was actually going to make an appearance, and I was kind of sad that he didn't.
Yeah, I was actually hoping, since it was going down, several characters saying "What's your wound?" They were passing it off from character to character, starting out with Morgan. Morgan was the first person who said it. Then it kind of trickled down to several. I think there ended up being about 4 or 5 people from the grave who whispered that "What's your wound? What's your wound?" And I thought we were going to get a Glenn, but yeah, you're right. Glenn wasn't even in there, was he?
No, that was kind of. I mean, I think in the scene where Rick, in his lucid dream, sees all the bodies when he's talking to Sasha, I think they pretty much put mock-ups of just about everyone that they couldn't get back, or maybe digitally added, because it looked like the actor who played Abraham was laying next to Maggie. But I mean, what they can do with computers these days, you never know. But it looked like Glenn was in that crowd, and you see Maggie, but right before Maggie, it looks like there's Abraham. So it's like everyone he's encountered, whether they're actually dead or alive, seem to be in that pile.
So there's no particular consistency with these people. There's no deeper meaning, because it's people who are dead and alive, right? I mean,
I think it was just supposed to be the landscape of everyone that Rick has encountered throughout the entire run of the 9 seasons he's been involved with, just kind of all appearing dead there, because it's to signify that he's searching for his family. And I don't really know if if that means his wife and Carl, or if it means like metaphorically, like everyone that he survived with has been his family, in this new world.
Right. And they tried to, and they messed with that a little bit, showing us that Shane, revealing that it's his family that he's looking for and not his. So it's supposed to give us maybe the audience and Rick some comfort knowing that he might be joining his family. It does remind me of the episode, I think it was season 2, where Rick's trapped in this place and he's answering a phone call. So that is something that was or excuse me, there's a phone in there that he answers the phone and he's talking to his dead wife. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, that was
like season 2 or 3 or something.
No, that was because they were already in the prison when she died and gave birth. So yeah, that was a few seasons in, but yeah, that was a while ago.
But that was the farthest they took it in the supernatural realm, and this is far beyond anything we've ever seen. I mean, there's definitely some mixed feelings. I mean, people have very mixed feelings about this episode, and
and yet critically, it has a 76% critical praise on Rotten Tomatoes. So I mean, the critics really, the majority of them really liked it. I had definitely had more issues. I mean, I didn't think it was terrible, and I don't mind the lucid dreams as much, but that's the whole thing, is they were trying to. It was so many levels working with what he was seeing, everyone he's encountering, and it's kind of like, no, he's looking for his family. He's talking to Shane, and Shane's like, no, that's my family. He's looking for his family. He's talking to Herschel, and Herschel's like, no, Glenn and Maggie. I mean, that's my family. You know, you got to move on. And then Sasha finally telling him, like, your family's not here, because they're not a bunch. You know, Carl's not in that pile of bodies there behind me, but
right, yeah, that's the one person we didn't see. Carl didn't see
wife.
Carl or Glenn, so that's interesting, or his wife. What was her name?
But see, I swear Glenn's in there somewhere. It could be. I swear I thought I saw a baseball cap, but I mean, because
what's
that?
that?
Kid there's Carol. Yeah, no, that's Daryl. There's Abraham. Yeah. I'm pretty sure if you had a way of like getting a good look at all those bodies, you'd probably see just about everyone that we've seen on the show supposed to be represented in there.